amateur photographer, and he had cameras and some pretty good ones.
Yeah.
That started me taking pictures of things all around our farm pond, the
Oh.
changing leaves in the fall, my pet dog,
Yeah.
just about everything.
Yep. What triggered your passion to become a photographer?
Well, let me think. When I went off to college, I always stayed an amateur photographer, but when I went off to college, I majored in a number of different subjects, and I've always been
Oh,
interested in
wow.
a whole big range of areas of learning, I suppose.
Yeah.
But photography was sort of the universal key or avenue into all of those things. So, like when I
Oh.
take pictures for National Geographic, I can use photography to take me all over the world.
Cool.
Oh.
And how much experience do you need to go into your profession?
Ooh, that can vary a lot. I mean, some people start in with relatively little experience and
Yeah.
find some niche of their where they can work. But for somebody like me doing things for National Geographic, I spent 15 years working for newspapers
Wow.
and did a number of books and did a number of projects, and I would say I would be surprised if anybody started working for National Geographic with less than 5 or 10 years of experience behind them.
Yeah. Now, are there any like specific schools for photography or that kind of stuff?
Sure, there are. And there are several different things. The University of Ohio, University of Missouri. Missouri has a particularly strong photojournalism program.
Yeah.
Western Kentucky. But then there are also a number of schools that offer very specific workshops, like the Santa Fe workshops, where I teach some.
Yeah.
And so there are a number of learning opportunities, as well as huge opportunities for the web.
Oh, okay.
Did you attend a photography school?
No, I did not. I learned pretty much on the job and was self-taught. No, I ended up majoring in psychology.
Oh, that's really cool.
Now, out of all the places you've traveled, where would you love to go again?
Go again. Well, I always like going back to the British Isles, and particularly the islands around Ireland and Scotland. And I'll be doing that next month in May aboard the National Geographic Explorer.
That sounds like fun.
And why do you want to go there?
I find that I really like the wild islands out there on the edge of the Atlantic, and that would
Yeah.
include then the islands further north, like the Faroes and Iceland, and even this summer we'll be as far north as Svalbard, which is up in the Arctic.
Oh.
We have a question from a listener. What do you think would be more valuable, college or interning with a photographer?
I'm afraid you can't pick. You're probably going to have to do both.
Oh.
because one of them is going to prepare you for the college experience will prepare you for all kinds of learning experiences and life, whereas the internship working with a photographer is very, very specific and is a little too narrow to be good by itself.
Oh.
Through all your travels, have you encountered any particular culture that is truly memorable?
I think all of them are memorable. Yeah, sometimes it's places like when I was on the Silk Road of Western China.
Yeah.
It was really a far out place. Yes.
Yeah.
But I've also spent 35 years photographing a small town here in Kansas,
Oh.
which has a really interesting culture as well. So it doesn't have to be around the world. It can be in your backyard.
Yeah.
What is your favorite experience while on the job?
Oh, maybe eating. How about that? I think really, the favorite experience, and it's universal wherever I go, is that with sufficient study and work and just dogged perseverance, every once in a while you get to be someplace that is just stunning or life-changing.
Yeah.
and maybe it's just only for a few minutes, but you can be there, and it's like the veil is lifted off of life.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
I totally agree.
Were there any particular experiences that really stick out?
Oh, well, I've traveled around the world 3 times now.
Wow.
Yeah. And all of those were going to all the places you'd all like to go, the pyramids and the Taj Mahal and Easter Island and Machu Picchu in Peru. But the one experience I keep going back to still
Yeah.
is the wonderful experience I had photographing those people in a small town, and I learned probably more from them that I use out in my work for National Geographic than any other place, and that is the one thing that sticks with me, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a couple more questions from listeners.
Sure.
What should young people do to be successful in the future?
You mean in photography or in general?
In general.
In general, enjoy learning, and this sounds a little bit like study hard, but I don't mean that. I mean that if you really enjoy learning, taking on new things, and you have a good time at it, you'll probably be successful at it. You'll be able to turn it into something of value.
Yeah.
So it isn't just sort of study hard. It's really relish what you do, and if you don't really love it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Do the work to find something that you really love, and then really dig in deep.
Yeah.
Okay, this person must know a lot about you. Is it true that tuba players make better photographers?
That who does?
Is it true that tuba players make better photographers?
Yes, I see you've been doing your research. Yes, tuba players do make much better photographers. They're ever so much better than tenors or trumpet players. Yeah,
Yeah.
And violinists are just terrible photographers.
Oh, okay. Do you play the tuba?
I used to. I don't very much anymore, but I used to. Yes. But I do sing bass in our choir, and bass players are much better. Bass singers are much better photographers too. There's something about the low notes, that just makes you see better, I think.
Do you ever use Photoshop to enhance your photos?
That's actually a fairly complicated question. All digital pictures go through some sort of processing, yes.
Yeah.
But and all photographs, whether they are in an old-fashioned black and white darkroom or on digital,
Yeah.
generally require some sort of work to really bring them out. Like dealing with contrast
Yeah.
and saturation and things like that. But we at National Geographic, I like to say we're in the non-fiction photography business. So know what people usually mean when they say about enhancing photographs with Photoshop is like adding clouds and taking out telephone poles. And we don't do that, and I don't do that. My work is basically to bring the world to people and to make them appreciate it. And I figure I'm better off finding a great piece of the world than I am trying to concoct it on the computer.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more questions from listeners.
Sure.
Do you think photographers rely too much on computers today for editing?
No, it's necessary, but I think the gist of that question is, do they spend too much time trying to make the picture in the computer instead of finding something really interesting in real life?
Yeah.
And I would say yes, I would say that. I see way too many pictures on, say, Flickr and other websites in which I really wished they may be beautiful, but I wish the photographer had seen something more interesting rather than spent so much time massaging it in the computer.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
Another one. What is the most interesting piece of work that you have done as a photographer?
Most interesting piece of work I've done as a photographer. Well, I'm somehow reminded of the picture of the kitten I took back on the farm when I was about 13 or something like that. but I think the most interesting thing might be some of the stories that I've done on food and farming.
Yeah.
For National Geographic. But when if you had to ask me, which pictures maybe have gathered the most attention, it might be some of those pictures that I did of the Scottish Islands, the Hebrides, a couple of years ago, and they were very dramatic, and people liked them, and of course I always like that.
Yeah.
We have another question from a listener.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a photo published that you wish you could take back?
I've had a lot of photos. Yes, I would say many. It's sort of like those paragraphs you wrote, and you wish you could reel them back. Nothing that I thought was untrue or really bad, but there's a lot of things that I wish I had done better. I think that's the bigger thing, that I always feel that I'm out in front of really wonderful things, and I'm not the subject is more wonderful than I'm getting in the pictures.
Yeah.
And so I always feel somewhat inadequate that I can't get in the pictures what is really so special about the place.
Yeah.
If you never became a photographer, what do you see yourself becoming?
Well, I don't mind writing, but I wouldn't have mind being an astronomer or a physicist, maybe, or maybe I don't know if I could have been a musician or not, truly, but I might try that.
Cool.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's interview. We'd like to give a big thanks to Jim for spending time with us today. We wish him luck in the rest of his career.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me to Lunchtime Leaders.
Do you have a picture for us to use?
Sure. Do you want to go on my website and find something you like, or do you want me to just send you something?
Going on the website's fine.
Pardon me?
The website is fine.
Yeah, why don't you go there? You know what you can do is from that website you can probably download. Are you still thinking for something for on the web?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go through there, and if you'll double click on it, so it'll get you to the gallery page. You can download pictures from there. So if you find something there you'd like to use, please go right ahead. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You betcha. Thanks for everything. It was a great interview, and you. How many people come in and listen in? You were getting questions from listeners.
Yeah.
We don't really know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't have an idea.
Well, you're well organized, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll send you the link to the interview.
Oh, great! I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll Facebook it if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Take care, guys.
All right.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.